But first, do you remember that credit card ad, American Express, don't leave home without it? Well, I just wish Anthony Albanese would leave his at home, the credit card that taxpayers gave him. This Prime Minister's gone straight from his visit to China, where he talked about pandas and red wine with the president, got absolutely nothing back in return. He's gone from there straight to the Cook Islands in the Pacific, his 19th foreign trip now in just 18 months. Now, he's going there for the Pacific Island Forum, which New Zealand's Prime Minister has been wise enough to dodge. And the problem with Albanese going with his credit card is that these Pacific leaders see a sucker coming into their casino. Or rather, they see the chief moneybags of a new cargo cult of the Pacific, global warming. Now, of course, it makes sense of them, for them to exploit our global warming guilt. I mean, you take the Cook Islands. I mean, if your big exports are things like coconuts and papaya, you're in trouble, and you'd be desperate for some free money from the West if it was on offer. And there sure is, because there's nothing like guilting the West into coughing up cash, with stunts like this from Tuvalu claiming that, our island is sinking under the rising seas thanks to the West's emissions, when the science actually shows, as recently as a 2021 study, your islands are growing instead. And so, by the way, 42% of atoll islands, another 42% stable. What's more, our Bureau of Meteorology says we're also getting fewer cyclones in our part of the world, including fewer severe ones, a bit in red on this graphic, so don't be scared that the islands are getting blown away either. So I've got to ask, what climate crisis we're trying to fix here? But along comes Albanese, coming spinner with your credit card saying, ignore the science, Tuvalu is in trouble.
We know that Tuvalu is on the front line of climate change.
Honestly, the Tuvalu Prime Minister must have thought, you beauty, got myself a good one here. Especially since Albanese had already made clear, of course, it was going to this meeting to discuss important issues affecting the region, he said, including climate change and regional security, by which he means China. Even worse, Albanese last month said he wanted these Pacific nations to back our bid to host the world's biggest climate summit in 2026. Now, why on earth we want to do that, I do not know. It's just going to give us nothing but grief and more bills. And to get their support for this ridiculous aim, he's promising to give millions to the United Nations Green Climate Fund. That's more free money for the Pacific. Now, really, it is that cynical. It really is. I mean, just how many millions of dollars of your money that Albanese is going to hand over, he hasn't yet said, but you might be able to guess by the size of the tips he's been putting on his credit card whenever he goes travelling like this. I mean, just in June, $100 million for global warming schemes in Vietnam. And that was backed in July by another $50 million to Indonesia for global warming schemes there too. And what will leave the Cook Islands, I hate to think. His global warming obsession, your money. And if Albanese just stayed at home with his credit card, don't you just think we'd all be a little bit better off?